Everyone. Hello, hello. So Star and I have swapped places today because guess what? As usual, there was something wrong with the connection. I did try to text you all in the chat so that you can see it. Hopefully the message appeared, but as soon as 6 o'clock came, it just shut down. I don't even know what happened. And I just usually attribute it to me being in the woods and I never know what's gonna happen. We just had a storm, so I'm not
Yeah,
sure.
we're
But
both
anyway,
in the woods.
we're both in the woods, so you all just stick with us, just
I'm in
stick
the
with
woods
me.
too.
So yeah, so we're gonna go ahead and get started today's topic. And
Disclaimer before today's topic. Disclaimer, everyone.
what's the disclaimer?
Everyone knows I'm a football fan. So if I seem somewhat distracted, it's because I'm watching the game. Okay, go ahead.
That's that's terrible.
I'm multitasking.
She's multitasking.
What?
That's okay. All right. So she'll be multitasking. I'll be here. I'm not watching the game, and I have a house and it's empty. So yay.
It's
Um,
empty? Wait, what?
yes,
Okay, go with the
yeah.
topic.
The
I
husband took the children.
Oh,
So
bless the Lord.
hallelujah. Hallelujah. So
Mm.
yeah, so I changed the topic about 4 times since I've had it up here. And
Yeah,
today
because I'm not even sure what it is now.
I need to look at it myself to make sure I say what the right topic is. It's three
Oh.
ways to give. Okay, it's 3 ways to
Mm.
give and how it increases your wealth. 3 ways to give and how it increases your wealth.
Oh,
So yeah, so this topic is actually right on time because although I had some reason, the reason why I wanted to do generosity in the first place, but it came at the right time that we do it today because Cat Williams just had an interview, and I wanted to kind of intertwine pieces of something that he said. Hey, Jamie. Hey, Kenneth. Hey, everybody. Hey, she said, and I just wanted to kind of intertwine both of these conversations. So I took I put a couple notes in here.
oh, so this came from some of the things that Cat Williams said in the interview at Club
Well,
Shay Shay.
yeah, well, it didn't because I put this topic up December 6th. So it came well before.
Oh, okay, okay, okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I get you.
I put like 4 topics up at one time because I wanted to make sure I
Okay,
had things set in place. And I was like, oh,
I
so
got you.
when that conversation came out and I heard that, and then today when I was looking through the topic, I was like, oh, that'd be perfect because we can bring up the Cat Williams thing, not to talk about him, not to
Yeah,
talk about him.
we're not, this is not that platform.
It is definitely not
We're
their
not.
platform. I don't come to try to bring anybody down, just to kind of bring
Right.
parts of what he said into this topic, just kind of
Yeah.
weave it together.
Because he did
So
say something profound about that.
yeah, he said
So,
something. He said a
and
few things.
luckily, the both of us have seen it. So I
Yes.
can
And if you
speak on
have, feel free to tell us in the comment section so we can kind of, look for your comments and see what you have to say. Yeah. And I thought, wow, first of all, let me just say, and I know this topic is not centered around Cat Williams, but I will just say that I was a little surprised. But I was also glad to hear him in that type of atmosphere and in that interview, and for him to be able to like really give me a better idea of who he was, because I only saw him as Cat the comedian. Like I really had never seen another side of him. So I'm gonna talk about that. So you look like, have you heard? so so we'll go ahead and get started. You've seen it. Okay, Jamie. So
it.
Jamie,
Okay.
all right. So we'll get started. So the reason I wanted to talk about this was initially I was thinking, sometimes people who have a really generous heart, and Kenneth, if Kenneth, if you don't mind me saying something, he said something in the comment section. I put up a question yesterday just to kind of get this topic started outside of this conversation we're about to have. And he said something in the comment section, and I was just like, oh man, because he was kind of right. He was on point. Well, that's his truth. And I think that some other people may be able to identify with what he said.
What he
So he
said?
said that unfortunately, I'll just summarize Kenneth. Unfortunately, some people take his kindness for weakness. That's basically what he said. Like he's very
All
generous.
the time, dog.
Yeah. Yeah, people didn't. I'm summarizing Kenneth, but is that basically what you said? That sometimes most of the time people take his kindness for weakness because he's a very generous person and they just kind of, do that. And we've heard stories where people do that. And I mean, I'm
Yeah,
sure, yeah, some of us have been in
happens
that
to me
situation.
all the time.
Happens all the time. And you can shed light on that later, Star, if you want. But what I wanted to do was kind of break this into three segments.
Okay.
So there are three things that I said generous people do get. Okay, there are three things that generous people can do. And before I do that, I looked up the definitions
Generous.
for generous because I want to make sure that everybody knows what generous means first and generosity. And I looked up the definition for wealth. So I just wanted to give those so that everybody, so we're on the same page. So the definition for generous, it was three definitions that would go along with this conversation. So it's an adjective and it says of a person showing a readiness to give more of something as money or time than is strictly necessary or expected. And it says they're liberal in giving, open handed. And I've heard that you have an open handed person, somebody that we talked about, I think, when you have your hands open last week and you're ready to receive or give. So that's an open handed person showing kindness toward others. That's another form of generosity. And of a thing larger or more plentiful than is useful or necessary. So that's generous. And then wealth, because I just want to make sure we're on the same page about what wealth is an abundance of valuable possessions or money. Now, wealth can also mean something else, and we're going to get into that. So,
Mhm.
so I just wanted to
I just got to pull my chair up a little bit higher.
go ahead. Yeah, pull your chair up. Absolutely. Jamie says, I need to. Hello, beautiful ladies. Absolutely. So, Um, what I wanted to start out was I had a question. What can a generous person share? And I think if I ask that question, I believe that some people are probably going to say or touch on what my three um, topics are for tonight, the way that I break down generosity and wealth. So, Star, you're looking like you might want to say, you might have something to say. And if you don't, I'll keep going.
I mean, I want to know what I'll just chime in because I have
Okay.
my ideas. So,
Okay, so I think that a generous person not only shares money, I think that's the first thing, that it could be monetary. It can be that a generous person shares their time and their energy. And we know that time is a very precious commodity because you cannot get time back. And I've heard a lot of people say that they much rather spend money as opposed to time. And I'm learning that as I get older, that time is
mhm,
definitely valuable. And if you agree with that, let me know over there in the chat.
facts.
Yeah, so the first thing is monetary, then the second thing is time, and then the third thing that I put down was knowledge. Like you're sharing your knowledge and your wisdom with others. Then I had a bonus one, a fourth one.
And what would that be?
The fourth one was that okay, and I got this. Maybe I'll talk about it after we go into like the first one because I want to kind of break it up so that I can stay on track. So with the first one, monetary. Let's talk about some ways that people can be generous and giving in a monetary fashion. Like, what are some things that you all have experienced, or what are some ways that you've given? Um, you know, what are some ways that you've given money? Hey, how you doing, East Dad? Thank you for coming in.
I think can I
Generous.
talk? Can
Yes.
can
Oh yeah, yeah. Yes.
I think those of us that are Christians and or church people, we're well familiar with tithe and offering and benevolence and blah blah blah. And people, I think, discredit that. People giving tithes and offering. Yes, it's your minimal due, but there, I think there takes some level of generosity in order to do that. Some people aren't giving you anything. So to even have the discipline and the mindset and the heart to give tithes and offering in church or benevolence or whatever is, that's like step 1. But I think that generosity comes into play um, in two different ways. There are those people that have a lot of money, and there are some people who don't have very much money. And it goes back to that parable in the Bible of the lady that had just a little bit and she gave all she had. That made her a very generous person.
Yes.
More so than the person that has excess because you're just sharing the excess of what you have. But when someone gives you all that they have, I mean that speaks volumes to me.
Right. And I
Now
think,
that's in terms of monetary.
yes, I agree because if I remember correctly, she only had a very small amount. Was it
Yeah,
pennies?
like 2 pence or something, and she just gave it all.
Yeah. And somebody may look at that and say that is nothing, but
No,
for
that was
her,
everything for her.
it was everything for her. And she definitely gave from the heart because,
Right.
and you know what? I thought about this when I was younger. For her to have given that money, all that she had, I definitely think it had to be heartfelt and something
It
that
was
she
very selfless.
very selfless and probably something that she didn't even think twice about doing.
No,
Because if it was her last, sometimes you might say, wait a minute, I have to buy groceries, I have this bill to pay, and you're looking at your paycheck. I know because I'm really
yeah,
big on numbers and budgeting and balancing. And
yeah.
sometimes the math does not math, and you're looking at that and you're like, wait a
The
minute,
math don't add up. It never
the
does.
math, it
And
never adds up.
that's like I mean, that's like a colossal version of somebody that made a sacrifice and they gave it because they really wanted to give. They really wanted to give. Now, I've been in a situation where I didn't have anything monetary to give and I really wanted to give. And I said to God, listen, you know I ain't got nothing.
Right.
But I really want to be able to give this monetary thing. And I'm not necessarily talking about in church. So let's get that
Hmm.
out of our heads. There are
Hmm.
certain instances where people may ask for donation or can you buy some of my kids' cookies because they're trying to go on a trip or whatever the case may be. And you froze. Are you there? And, or did I freeze? I'm talking. I don't know. Let me see. Hello. Hello, hello. There you are.
Oh,
And so I really wanted to buy those cookies to support those kids because Marty Mart love the kids. I wanted to be able to support those kids. I didn't have no money to to buy, the Girl Scout cookies or the whatever the case may be. And when you
right.
really want to give, it makes you feel bad, inadequate, whatever you want to call it. Um, but therein lies the knowledge and grace of God because He knows your heart and
Hmm.
that you really want to give. But I was saying that roundabout story to say, sometimes when you really want something and you want to give, God will give it to you so that you can give.
I have a Star. Are you visible? Like, can you see yourself on the screen? Because I see you.
I see me.
Okay. Can anybody in the chat see both of us before I keep going? Because Star is saying giving some really important
You can't see
information.
me?
I can see you in the background, but I can't. But you're frozen on screen.
Am I?
Yes, and I don't
Oh
know if
no, and I wore my butterfly earrings and everything. Oh my gosh.
Hi, Susanna. Can you all
I
hear
got my
both of us?
choker. I
I
tried to
know.
get cute for today.
I know, and you
Jamie
look
says she
beautiful.
sees us.
Okay, okay,
Good,
Jamie.
because
Thank
I don't
you.
want my earrings to go to waste.
I don't. Yeah, I did.
I
Actually, did
actually
something.
tried to comb my hair. Aren't
Me
y'all
too.
proud of me?
I combed my hair too today. Look, I
I
look beautiful.
noticed.
Same here.
Look at
It's weird.
us.
Yeah, so I just want to make sure. Thank you, Jamie, because it's something weird happening on my end. But
Okay.
continue. I'll just look at you frozen.
No, I don't want you to see me frozen.
Well, I can see you on the side panel.
Yeah, but I
Um,
might have. funky look on my face,
You want
and
me you want
I
me to
might be
take you
frozen
out and
like
put you back
this.
in?
You know
I
what I'm
know, and you are.
saying?
You want me to take you out and put you back in? I can do that. Maybe that'll
Well,
help.
if you can't see and I'm still you can hear me, but I'm just frozen.
Well, you're frozen on my screen, but I can see you in the on a panel and you're talking. That's the weird part. But if they can see you, it's okay because
Okay, so am I frozen to the audience too?
Jamia, we need you right now and can't stop. Can you is Star frozen? Can anybody tell me?
Am
Am
I
I frozen?
frozen?
Because it's saying that we both have 10 out of 10 connection, but again,
Oh,
we're
what?
both in the woods. So checking in peace. Hey Steve, thank you for coming in. Maybe I just need to I don't want to reload it because I know I think it'll shut everything down. So I don't want to do that
Oh, well,
unless
then that would mean that I would have to leave and come back.
yes. So if they say they can see you, know you both are moving. Okay,
No,
we're both
that we're
fine.
both
So
moving.
I'll keep looking at you on the side. I'm fine. Oh
So
wait,
I'm
as long
not
as
frozen like this.
right, because on my screen you're like, okay,
Oh, no, that's horrible. But
yeah,
anyway, so for
hmm,
me, I've never been a woman of great monetary means. Unfortunately, in my life, that just hasn't been my testimony.
yeah,
um, but I have been a person that has been blessed with many a talent and time. And I really enjoy giving in that way, giving my giving of myself with regards to my talents or whatever it is that God's blessed me to know how to do. And I do it in my time. And yes, Kenneth, some people do take your generosity for weakness because I just
yeah,
had that happen to me and I didn't appreciate it. But I said, you know what? Ain't no thing but a chicken wing.
yeah. Okay, so since we're talking about monetary, and I agree, and I was listening to Shaquille O'Neal earlier today, and he was saying that because he's been blessed, and again, I'm paraphrasing, because he's been blessed, like he wanted to give somebody something every day. Like if he goes to the store, it was actually a reel I was looking at, and he was in the store and he asked this little boy if he wanted to buy him if he wanted a bike. So he went and bought him a bike, and then he had this interview later on saying that because he's been blessed and he can't take all the money that he has with him, he wants to be able to bless somebody every day.
Right. Because you ain't taking it with you.
You can't take it with you, so why not bless people, and why not, you know as I was saying before, a lot of times we're counting our dollars and trying to make the math and the money match up and stuff like that. But I was reading in the Bible. You all know, okay, I am a woman that loves God, so I kind of went to the Bible with this one, and I was reading just to kind of, add to this live, add to this value, and it said in Proverbs 11:24, those who give generously receive more, but those who are stingy with what is appropriate will grow needy. And I was like, wow. So that alone would tell you, like, why wouldn't you want to give more if you could? Like, if you have it, why would you want to give more? And then I was listening, women with plenty of hair up there.
That's why I laughed. I just didn't even interrupt you. Why you talking about all our hair?
Yeah, between the two of us, it's a whole lot of hair up there, right?
A
He's
whole lot
there,
of hair.
a whole lot of hair.
Long as it
So
ain't on my upper lip, I'm good.
right, and let us stay here. Let us. So when I was reading that, I was just thinking, um, God gives in abundance. And
Yes.
although some of us may say we don't have a lot, and others may say, oh, I have so much money that my barns are just overflowing with money. And, or Shaquille O'Neal, who's able to buy somebody every time he sees
Right.
somebody in the store. He always provides and gives us provision. And when I was reading this, I was thinking, so if he never lies, then that means that if we give and we give from the heart, because you're not to give
Yeah, you
grudgingly.
don't give to get. You give
No.
because it feels good.
Yeah. And I'm glad you said that because that kind of goes to my next point. You give because it feels good. You give because you want to do it. And that's why I wanted to read the definition when it was talking about being open handed. You don't want to give like this with clutch fists and say, I'm just giving because I have to, or
Yeah,
because,
God don't want your stank.
right,
I don't
right,
want it either. Don't give me
exactly.
something and you give it to me egregiously.
I
Like,
don't want it.
he don't need it, first of all. Second of all, he don't want it. I don't want it. He don't want it. Why would you
Right,
want something that someone gives to you egregiously? Like, yeah, well, you can have it. That's like somebody
mhm,
said to me one time, well, why don't we just go ahead and get married? Not.
right. I don't want to marry you. No, why
I
don't
don't want to
we?
marry.
Just
No.
like that song, you just made me think about it. That old song by Jagged Edge. Let's get married. But
Yeah,
he's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
we're not getting no younger. You might as well do it.
Yeah,
And I was
yeah.
like, I thought about those words sometimes. I'm like, wow, like I would want to get to marry somebody just because they like we ain't getting no
I
younger. We might as well do it.
know. I heard this song the other day and I was thinking, what is he talking about?
Yeah,
I
what is
listen
it?
to the lyrics and just pass out laughing at some of this stuff because I'm like, who wrote this? Like, who wants to do that?
Right. Who
Yeah.
wrote it and like what? I mean, it had a great beat, but when you think about the words, you're like, wait a minute, does that even make sense?
I
Like, do I
actually
know
never liked it.
you have to be wise about
I
who you
never
give,
liked it.
you know? I like the beat, but you have to be wise. This is from Can't Stop. Hey, Can't Stop. If I didn't say hi, you have to be wise about who you give to because you have professional begging people out here. Now, that is also the truth. And I think
You do.
that's also probably made it a little bit more difficult for people who are normally really generous to give and maybe they change up the way they give now.
They do. And you have professional beggars, but
You're moving now.
this is what I have said to my husband because I think that is something that irritates him, whether it's outside the church or in the church, where he feels like people may be taking advantage of him. And I said, listen, you do because you want to do and because God has blessed you.
Yeah.
Them people have to give an account for what they're doing. Don't worry about what they're doing with the money that you giving them. You
Right.
doing it because you want to,
Want
it's
to.
right, and it makes you feel good, and you have it, and you've been blessed to do it, and you just keep on giving because God has everything and it's in abundance. So I ain't worried about it.
Anyway,
So he turned around and gave me the same speech when somebody asked me to do a public service announcement for them, and I said, "Sure, I'll do it." And I went above and beyond, and I put sound effects and music, and I gave my talent to this person. I didn't make them sign a contract.
what's next?
They will next time, but I did make them because I was excited. I
Yeah.
was like, "Oh, I'd love to do this." And, "Oh, yeah, I'll pay you." And I haven't gotten a check yet. But that's okay because God has everything.
Everything. And I think when you look at it that way, it definitely makes it easier to give because well, I was always told give without expectation. And that is the way I try to do it. Once I give something to you, it is none of my business what you do with it. Like if
Right.
it was put on my heart to give it to you, and I know that it was, and I just want to give it to you because you got to be a cheerful giver, I don't care what you do with it. I don't care because I already know that when I give, I'm going to get it back. It may not always be monetary, but it might be a decision that I have to make that I prayed about. I might get it back that way. It might be this can't stop.
Yes,
it
they
might,
will. They will be signing an official contract next time.
yeah, they banging on my truck door with the newest. Yes, they do that. They do. I can't stop. Yeah, so it's whether it's health, like that's another form of wealth to me. Like if you're healthy and you have all your
Absolutely.
limbs,
You cannot buy health. Yeah, you can get a good doctor, a good hospital, you can get the best plastic surgeon, you can get everything. But if you're really sick and there's no cure, your money don't mean nothing. It means nothing. So health is wealth. Let me tell you, it's nothing
health is
like
wealth.
being sick. You don't want to be sick.
Yes, they will next time. Look, yeah.
Oh, he's laughing because I said they're gonna sign the contract next time.
Next time, well, you live and you learn. And I think you
Yep.
did that, and you did it for whatever reason you did it. But then also now you know how to, you learn how to treat people. And if you're in a
Yeah.
situation like that, then now you know moving forward. Okay, this is what
Yeah.
happened.
And just
And
yeah.
now next time I will do it this way. I'm gonna do it
You
differently.
didn't pay me last time, dude.
Yeah,
This
you
is
didn't give
my
me my
livelihood. This is my job. Why wouldn't you want to pay me? Clearly, you thought enough to ask me. So, come on now.
right. Give me my money, but give me my money so I can pay tithes. Come on,
But
brother.
okay, because God got everything I need. God got my money.
Everything. He got, and listen, here's another. Okay, I just had three verses. I promise y'all, but they are all good,
No,
and they were just
no, no.
so
Read.
appropriate. And I know I'm not trying to be a bootleg beautician, be a
Bootleg
bootleg evangelist.
missionary. You
I
are a
should be
bootleg missionary. Just get over it. Read the
just get
scripture.
over it
Go
and
ahead.
accept the call. And let me read this scripture because this is just pressing on me. So the other one was Proverbs 11:25. Generous persons will prosper. Those who refresh others will themselves be refreshed. That's what you did, Star. You know what? You did something out of the kindness of your heart, so you will get it back. Because I believe this, you cannot beat God given. I don't care what nobody says. Nobody. You can't beat him given. He showed that when he gave the ultimate sacrifice. That was his son. He gave his son. And I mean, that speaks a whole lot. That's generosity in itself. And I know I said something about, okay. Hi, Rochelle Vanderpool. Thank you for coming in. And God will bless you. I'm looking at Steve's. Thank you,
Yeah.
Kenneth. Then you can see both of us. God will bless you spiritually, mentally, or physically.
And he
Absolutely.
has. Because I haven't gone crazy yet.
No, still in the right, you still in your right mind, right? We still in
I'm
our right
still in
mind.
my right mind.
Still. And that's just something to be thankful for right there. That
Oh,
generosity.
absolutely.
And I
Yes.
have
Mental
one more verse.
mental health is a lot to be thankful for.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You
So
and being clothed like all of us. I mean, I see you have on a nice outfit over there, Star. You
yeah,
don't look
no,
like
this
you
is
have to.
this is my lounge around the house, play in the garden dress, and
Oh,
I
I
just
think
was
it's
like,
cute.
"Oh, that's right. We got live today. Let me throw something on."
I think it's cutesy. But
I was like,
nevertheless, you look your face, you're glowing. I know you haven't missed a meal. You look decent in an order. You
"Yeah, I
get
know. I haven't missed a meal."
neither have I. And I mean, so we have so much to be thankful for, and you can bless others is the point. Don't feel like just because you gave something to somebody and sometimes people do take advantage of you. That was that person. That doesn't mean that everybody else is going to do that.
No. And I know they're not. And the thing is when it happened, when I was asked, it was like the monetary part was a secondary thought. Like, yeah, I do this for money, but I know I'm not I can't
Yes,
read.
girl, you are not doing this to the
But I yeah, I do. This is
gotcha.
it's my job, it's my career, it's my livelihood. But the first thought was, oh man, that'll be really fun. And when somebody says something, well, why don't we do this? Immediately, the wheels
And we,
start turning in my head about what I can do, what I could, what I, how I can make this, da 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 da. Yeah, I was like, okay, well, and I didn't even say I'm gonna charge you X amount of money. I just was like, well, just give me a donation for using my time, my
mhm.
studio, my voice.
That's right, because
And
time, like you said, you can't get time back.
right. And I spent time on it.
Yeah.
And I delivered the product long before they asked for, that they needed it. So it's okay. That's me. That's my work ethics because I love what I do. I jumped right on it. I was excited. I ain't worried about that.
You and also, you know what? I don't know like what type of promotion this person might do. You can get it back in that way where people now see you and you get exposure. So what's
It
some
just kind of irritated me because I
I'm
felt like,
sure.
really? I mean, really?
No, I'm sure because like you said, that's your craft. That's your
Yeah,
livelihood. You
you
put
know,
time and effort into it and you
yeah.
know.
But not, nobody can stop you. But you giving your time, you can't get back. Monetary, you can get that back. And
Mhm.
giving of your talents, well, I mean, hey,
That's the
you
next
do
thing
it
up.
because you love doing it,
Yes.
you know. If I had said I was going to do it for free, I still would have done it and still would have done the same quality job because
Mhm.
I love what I do.
Yeah.
But Mama gotta eat too.
Mama got to eat, and it just shows what your work ethic is. You know, you still put out the best product that you
I
can put out,
do.
and that's on that person. You will, like you said, God owns. He owns everything. He has everything, and He will
Yeah.
provide. You know that. I have seen it time and time again in my life. And you brought up the next point. You got we're talking about three ways to give and how to increase your wealth. And this is all ways to increase your wealth. And again, we're talking about monetary, like you can get it back in money. What is it? Tenfold, whatever. You can get it back in health. You know, you get it back in sometimes you can get it back with somebody pouring into you, which is one of my other points. And I'm gonna say the second thing was time, volunteering. You touched on that, Star. That's another way you giving of your time and volunteering and giving back to others, you know. And it doesn't have to be I could say this one thing too about donations. Like I will say that I have given in the form of donations so many toys and so many clothes over the past
Oh yeah.
many years, just so many. And I'm going to tell you
Yeah.
all, I was told, and I don't know how true this is or what, you know, I need to do more research on it, but they always say that you get it back. Well, you can get it back the way that you give it. And I believe that because my kids have so many toys all the time. It's like the room is over, just running over with toys. You walk past, it's just toys.
I can
You can
I
attest
can
to it.
verify that.
And it's like no matter how much I go and give toys, maybe I should stop giving toys away because I keep giving them away, and I just keep getting triple the
You're
amount of
like
toys.
Toys R Us in that
Toys
camp.
are us. I kid you not. And the clothes, I give away a lot of clothes. I got my kids, their closets are filled with clothes. And I mean,
Yep.
it's so much to the
I
point that sometimes
used to
I'm like,
do that a lot. Not so much now because I kind of need the clothes that I got, and you know, I'm trying
yeah.
to get back into the clothes that I got, but that's another topic. But yeah, I used to give hordes, bags, huge clothes, shoes, you know, everything. And I found a venue that spoke to me. So I gave my things to domestic violence
Mm-hmm.
centers
Yep.
because I I I could identify with them and I wanted I'm not looking at them chappy.
I know.
And I wanted them, those victims, to be able to have something to look forward to have a chance at, to restart or whatever it is they needed to. They needed and I gave like nice
Yeah.
slacks,
Yes.
so that if they got a job, they would have something to wear to the job. Then,
Mm-hmm.
you know, but I didn't do it because I was looking for something. I did it because
Right.
I felt, man, God blessed me to get out of a domestic violence situation. And I know that some of those women, their situation was way worse than mine,
Mm-hmm.
you know. So I wanted to give back for that reason, out of concern, out of love, out of being caring.
Yeah.
So I guess, bottom line for me is however you give and give of yourself and being generous, um, the more you do it, the more you will do it, the better
Yes.
you'll feel. I mean, there's such an overwhelming feeling of fulfillment when you give to someone and just to see the smile. I'm watching the
Watching
NFL
the
too.
NFL.
I got it right over here,
You
right
can
here.
play both. You can play both East Dad.
Woo, boy, Cowboys getting towed up. Anyway, um, yeah, the blubber is real. I don't
East Dad.
even know. I don't even know where the blubber came from. It was just like wah wah.
Yeah. I'm not
The
coming
blubber
from it.
is real. I'm
Well,
commenting
we know
on
you all are fed. We fed. That's it. And we
I'm
are
well
grateful.
fed. I'm well fed. In
Yes.
fact, I just got finished making a big old pot of cabbage.
Don't let's not talk about food. I have not
I
eaten yet.
know. And some country's barbecue spare ribs.
Ooh, some spirit. So okay.
Anyway,
So yeah. So you were talking about the monetary, the time volunteering. And I remember when we used to
Yeah.
volunteer at the nursing home, and I just wanted
Oh
to
my
use
gosh. Did that
and
not feel so good?
oh,
I
you
really miss that.
I do too. I was looking for somewhere here to do that, but they have Saturday serve in my church, and I'm so doing it. But I miss you guys.
A lot
So
of the rules have changed. Uh,
yeah,
the
we used
world has changed. Y- y-
hmm
You can't do a lot of the things that you used to be able to do. Because at one point I like to read and, I do audio books and blah, blah, blah. So, I wanted to read to the kids.
yes.
And I called the hospitals and I had an abundance of stuffed animals that I was going to get those of my babies. But I'm like, I'm going to give it to the kids. They're sick, they're in the hospital. Nothing like being a sick
Mhm.
kid in the hospital. I know about that too.
Yeah.
So, you know, but it was like, no, we can't let you come in. Or, you got to go through this strenuous background check. And
Mhm.
then you have to get on. And I'm like,
Yeah, they
I
cracked
don't
down.
know if they're that strict with the nursing home too, but times have changed.
Yeah,
What we used to do, you can't really do that
I
anymore.
know. And it was like you said, it was never, I always felt so good when we did it. And just the look on the people, the older people's face, the elderly, the people's faces that lived in a nursing home, that was just,
Priceless.
it was
And I
priceless.
still remember those people, and they have long gone on.
Yes, so do I. I remember Miss Katie and
Bert and Art, the
yes,
couple,
and they loved
and
having us
Miss
come in.
Katie, and
Hey, Miss Katie. I remember them, and there was even a lady that couldn't really speak that we used to interact
right,
with.
she couldn't
She
speak.
couldn't speak, but she would just try her best, and she'd have sounds, like sounds would come out her
Yeah,
mouth.
she just made sounds, but her face just told it all.
Her
And
face,
we weren't even that good.
we
Like,
weren't even good. It was just our presence, like just being in there and being around younger people, I guess, and they
we
loved it. And it was
sang for them, and they just thought it was
the
the
best.
best thing since sliced bread.
And that's what,
And sometimes just sitting there and listening to them, because when you get older, I haven't gotten to that stage yet, but I've noticed that happening to older people.
mhm,
When you get older, people tend to ignore you and not listen to you anymore. They think you don't know what you're talking about. Forget the fact that you didn't live 400 years,
right, right, right.
but you don't know what you're talking
You
about.
don't know what you're talking about. You've been through 98 years of experience, and you're like,
98 years of experience, but you have no clue. And that's
mm-hmm.
how people treat you. They push you aside. They don't listen to what you say. They go, hey, she's just
You're
talking.
dismissive. Mm-hmm.
So just listening to older people, the elderly, just listening to them and treating them like a human being because they still have feelings and they still have stories and they want to talk. And that right there is very fulfilling for
Yes,
me.
I agree. I
And I
agree. It was
encourage everybody to find something that, you know, makes you feel good when you do it and it
mhm,
makes and it's beneficial to someone else or
yes.
some other group. Who
And
got
both
back from a
parties
cruise?
can't stop. You went on a cruise. I know that was nice. Where'd you go? Tell us in the comment section. The room attendants worked 14 to 15 hours. I had no
They
problem
work
getting it.
hard. They
Yeah,
work
they
hard. And some of us will say, "Oh, that's their job. They supposed to mop my floor. They get paid to do." They don't get paid a lot of money.
some of us forget our home, our manners, and treat them any kind of way and leave the room a mess. I don't know. I don't. I try to keep it
Yeah.
clean. And then you like, oh, oops. Oh, disregard. Okay.
He forgot. He forgot what platform.
You were watching the NFL East Dead, and I so
Oh no, it's looking a little shady here.
yes. So those were the three. Did I talk about knowledge, sharing experiences, sharing
No,
your
we
knowledge?
didn't talk about
That-
knowledge. I just kind of like, as
Yeah,
usual,
but we
took over
landed
with
on
my big mouth
volunteering
and
and
started talking.
time.
But yeah, talk about knowledge.
Yeah, knowledge. That's also being generous with giving others your knowledge, because guess what, like Star just said, when you listen to the elderly or somebody that knows more than you, they're being generous with their time and with their knowledge because they're taking the time to explain things to you or to give them um, to tell you about their previous experiences and to help you through. Say for example, you're a business owner, you might not know something, but you get a mentor or you get around somebody else that has a business, you
Oh
sit in a room
yeah.
with successful people and listen to them talk. That's generosity. That's them sharing information, especially if you didn't have to pay to sit in that room, because that's a whole nother topic. Because some of these things that you have to pay for, ooh,
Yeah.
price.
People charge, yes, knowledge is powerful and priceless because people make a living on sharing their knowledge. And I ain't mad at them.
Neither am I.
I
Neither.
mean, I
I just
share
want
my
to better.
voice and I make a living. Of
That's right.
it.
There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, we were talking about gifts and talents before in one of these lives, and
But
what's wrong
yeah,
with sharing
you
your
know,
gift and talent to
when
make?
someone comes and they ask me something like, well, how did you do such and such? My first notion is not, well, if I tell you, you're going to have to pay me. No,
Right.
I'm just like,
I'm
oh,
the
I'm so glad you
same.
asked. Let me tell
Yeah.
you how to do that.
Yeah. I just
And
started doing too.
yeah, I just, oh, and if you do this, and even something as simple as women, I don't know about men, because y'all don't talk. You
Not as
should, but
much.
you don't. But
Right.
that's another
Mhm.
topic too. But as far as women are concerned, we tend to share a lot of like beauty knowledge. Like, oh, how
And
did you get your
mom knowledge.
eyebrows to do that? Oh, girl, they got this stuff in the store. And where did you buy it? Take a picture of it and send it to me. We do that. I don't know what's wrong with the Cowboys, bruh.
I had no idea. I'm not even
They look
watching.
real sick right about now.
I don't even know who they're playing.
They're playing Green Bay.
Oh,
These are important games. That's why. I'm
okay.
sorry. These are important games.
It's okay. I have no idea what's happening.
But we women share a lot of intimate knowledge as well. Like women really talk. Y'all
Yes.
men should try it
Yes, y'all
sometime.
should try it. It's therapeutic too.
It's
Now we're not
therapeutic.
saying share all your intimate business that you
No,
know.
but I mean, if you have a question, believe me, somebody else out there has the same question or the same problem, or they've already been through it and they already know the answer.
And
So,
that's
yeah,
also the thing too. We're generous with our information as it pertains to like our past experiences. Like it just depends on how comfortable you are with telling people whatever it is that you're
right.
telling them. And the more
And
transparent
you
person
know
you can,
me, I just,
that's what I'm saying.
I,
The more transparent a person can be with somebody else, and a lot of times that's if they trust that person with their information, then they can give you a
yeah,
wealth of knowledge. Like we share a lot of things back and forth
I
as
can
far as
be scary transparent.
yeah.
I
But
mean,
it
when I was dating my husband, he called it brutally honest.
and
It
I
was
think
like,
I think
you're brutally honest. I'm like, well, I mean, what?
I mean, like, I think you should be. I'm honest with you. Like, if I'm telling somebody something, like you said earlier, Star, if somebody asks me, I just tend to start telling them, okay, because I don't like to hoard information. If
Well,
you ask
yeah,
me something and I have the answer and I know, I will try to share. And then if I don't know, I'll try to go find out a lot of times if I have the time to
yep,
do that.
yep.
And then
And I
come back
think
and
I
report.
think it goes I think it goes a long way for a person. People can sense uh genuine behavior,
Hmm.
you know, as opposed to we were talking about that at Double Dutch Saturday about how when some people pray, you can really feel, you know, really feel the spirit. You can really feel the
Yes. Oh,
words
you can
that are
feel
coming
their
out of
anointing.
their mouth. And then
Yes,
when
you
some
can.
people pray, you be like, for real, how long is
You're
this?
like, how right, when is this over?
Because I know God tired of you. I'm tired of you. God got to be tired. Say amen for crying out loud.
That's the truth. It is true, but some people have that. It's their gift. It's an anointing, and you can feel it. Their
Oh, yeah,
presence, and
definitely
you,
so.
whew,
But
yeah,
it's coming from somewhere else. It's coming from deep within. It's genuine, not
yeah,
just words,
yeah. It's not
because
just fluff.
um the person that led the prayer yesterday we were, we always hold hands and pray. And she didn't have that you
That
know
thing.
that
Yeah.
that prayer flow where it just and she was like, y'all, forgive me, this is how I talk to God. And we're like, no, we was right there with you. It's like
Yeah.
everybody doesn't have that gift of flow. And that's how we got into, well, hey, some people have it and it ain't genuine. So prayer is prayer. You talking to God, you talking to God.
There's prayer. And since
End
you
of
brought
story.
prayer up, that was my bonus. That's my number four. That's another way to be generous when you offer prayer to others or you encourage others. And we were talking about that thing, that thing that some people may have or that you might like say you don't have it all the time, but sometimes it's God when God shows up, you have that thing and it's just
Yes.
flowing.
And that's what another one said at our
Yeah,
meeting yesterday, that, hey, sometimes when you get to going, God will give you the words and then it will start to flow,
it'll
you
start to.
know?
Yeah,
Right.
I think
But
you
you got
just
to get
can't be
out of
like the
yourself.
Pharisees. Yeah, you got to be out yourself. You can't just be like he said in the Bible about the Pharisees. You just can't be up there just talking,
Right.
trying to make it look good and trying to say all the perfect words because they were very intelligent and they knew the words to say.
Exactly.
They knew, the religious traditions. They knew how to respond in all those ways, but they didn't have that thing, and they were called out. So sometimes you might just be talking, it might be a lot of fluff, but when God comes in and speaks, and then it goes from heart to heart and breast to breast, and you're able to feel that thing. And
Yeah.
I just wanted to say one more verse before we start talking about Cat Williams, because I'm looking at the time, it's 6:51. I didn't realize it.
Are we
But
going to
we've
talk
only been on 46 minutes. That's because of the connection. So we got a little time if you all willing to listen. So I wanted to say this one last scripture. It was important. 2 Corinthians 9, 6 through 8. And Star, you're going to recognize a part of this one. Remember this: whoever sows sparingly will also reap sparingly, and whoever sows generously will also reap generously. Each of you should give what you have decided in your heart to give. We talked about that. Not reluctantly or under compulsion, for God loves a cheerful giver, and God is able to bless you abundantly. This is the part you're going to remember from our church. So that in all things, at all times, having all that you need, you will abound in every good work. Remember that, runneth over, press
press
it together.
down, shake it
Shake
together?
it. I used to love that part in church, you guys. So those
Oh,
are the four things, the four ways that I think you can gain wealth. And again, we talked about what wealth was. So you can give monetarily, you can give donations, you can give of your time through volunteering, you can give of
and
your
someone in
knowledge.
the chat said, encourage your fellow YouTubers.
Ooh,
That means a lot when someone encourages you. We're small businesses. We're
yeah,
the nobodies in the, so to speak. I'm somebody. And she
I
said,
am somebody. I
but
am
I'm just
somebody.
saying, on I am somebody. You
Yes.
telling your age. Anyway,
Yes.
but to encourage others, those who are trying to do something positive and,
Mhm.
try to get something, man, that means a lot for even y'all to come in and listen to us babble on
Y-
about topic after topic.
Yes.
That's generosity. That's
Yes,
giving.
it is.
I'm gonna come and I'm gonna be here. Like my niece said, I don't know if you're gonna participate today because I know it's football. I'm like, yeah, it's football. I'll be there.
No, she's here. And
I'll
go
be
ahead.
there. I'm gonna still be watching football, but I
And
have
I
my
don't
football.
mind because this is a time. I'm glad you said that, Star, because that was also something that I want to touch on, that is generosity, for
Yeah,
people to come and listen and devote an hour or a little bit over, it depends with us. Um, every Sunday at 6. The ones that come in and support us, that means a lot to me. If I have not said
right.
that to you
Because they don't
individually,
have to do that.
you don't have to do that because that's your
Mm,
time.
mm,
You don't
it's
have to
my
do that.
time.
Star does not have to come in and support me in the way that she does every Sunday. And like she said, I was like, I don't know if you're coming, but I'm just throwing you to sleep just in case because I know the football game is on. I don't watch football, so I don't have that
She
problem. But
doesn't. But I've
I
already put in my leave paper for the Super Bowl.
She has.
I
And I said, "Oh, you can watch the Super Bowl and still be here?" Because
no,
she's
I
really
can't
good.
watch the Super Bowl and be here.
I might be solo, y'all, so come in and support me whenever the Super Bowl.
I'm sorry. It especially if my Ravens make it.
Yeah, the
And
Ravens got a good chance.
the Super Bowl is I'm sorry.
See, I
I
won't
love
expect
you,
you to
but
watch the highlights like me. In East Dad, I won't expect you to watch the highlights because that's all I do. My husband
I
watch highlights.
can't. I
Let me
have
see
to
the
watch
highlights. I
the
don't need
game.
to
I
see the
got
whole
to know
thing.
what's Gwen's on. I mean, game number two gonna be coming on.
Right. So
I'm
let
sorry, I
me
just love watching football. I'm a football head. What can I say? I
he loves
have been for
football.
years.
I don't care about it. I mean,
And
nothing against the
this is some
football.
egregious mess right here. And I'm just my jaw is unhinged.
Oh
Like,
my goodness.
yeah, this I don't think anybody expected this. But
So
I mean, that's what happens at the end of the season. Unexpected things.
unexpected
So,
things happen. What do you do?
but yes, I've already put in my leave for Super Bowl Sunday.
And I'm gonna give it to her. She gonna have off that Sunday, y'all. So I'll be here solo. So come in. If you watching
I can't do this and watch the Super Bowl.
East Dead, if you watching the Super Bowl, just put the video on and let it play. Just to hear listen to me in the background. But
Disclaimer.
yeah, so those are four things for anybody who's rewatching this live. Just in case I got off. Four things, four ways that you can be generous and get it back. Because when you have a heartfelt gift and you give and it's coming from the heart, you will get it back. I can tell you, I'm definitely a product of getting things back. And I do it without expectation. If you're expecting it, if you're giving it with a closed fist, you might as well keep it. We talked about that earlier. Keep it.
Yeah.
Nobody wants that. I
Nobody
don't I
wants
don't
your
want it started to want
second
it.
stink. Yeah.
We don't want it. And I wanted to before we close out, it might go a little bit over 7, but before we close out, so I was talking about the Cat Williams interview earlier.
Mhm.
So those of you who saw,
Right,
I know
right.
Daniel said she saw it. And in the Cat Williams interview, he talks about being generous. And he didn't say I'm generous. He didn't say it that way, but the things that he talked about showed you that he was a generous person. He adopted 7 children.
That's generous.
That is very generous because kids require money, patience, time, energy. The list goes on and on. So for
Because
him
I got
to
2 by birth and 4 by marriage.
right, and I have 5, and I know kids take a lot. And then when you
Yeah,
look at the total cost, I can't remember what it was, but it's probably more now since I looked at
a
it years ago.
lot.
It's a lot of money.
But
So we're
I
talking
love
about,
my children, all
but you,
4 of them,
yeah, yeah, I love mine
and
too. I love mine.
I really get a kick out of when they call me, because all of my kids are grown. So,
Mine,
but
all
I
mine.
poor you. Woo, woo,
I know.
woo.
I still have time, you all. I'm gonna be putting in the time.
She ain't never gonna leave the house. But anyway, but all of my children are grown. I mean, real good and grown. Like grown, grown.
Grown,
And
grown.
yeah, I mean,
Who was Brock Purdy?
40 to 30 grown.
Huh,
Well, they're talking about
just like my
football.
quarterback. Okay, I know what a quarterback is. I just don't know Brock. Okay.
They
Sorry.
talk about football. But I really, really get a kick out of when my children call me for advice or just call me to say hey and or just call me to tell me some of their dirt. I went out with so and so, or this guy was, and what do you think about this? And even with my girls, we have this joke. I call myself the evil stepmom.
And she's not at
And
all.
but I always say,
Yeah,
well,
I know.
why didn't you call evil stepmama? I would have told you. And it's just like this running joke, but
Yeah.
I'm
Evil
totally not
stepmama give
evil.
it to him straight though.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But, I really love that, when they call and he adopted 7 children.
7. I
I know
was
that.
like, wow. And not only that, he said he used to that some people could attest to it because they would see him going through the neighborhood with the babies, and taking care of the babies. And I thought, wow, that's something to, you know, I had never heard him speak the way that he spoke. And I was like, first of all, I could tell that he's very intelligent. Um, and I don't know, like I know the side of the story that he told during that interview. And hey, Gina versus Gina, I know the side of the story that he told during the interview, and that was his truth. And I would suspect that some people will probably keep coming out and say whatever their side is because everybody has their side of the story. But he
Yeah.
sounded really passionate about what he was saying to me. And it sounded
And
like,
I sensed some anger and resentment in some of the things he said. And I didn't agree with everything he said, but I found out a lot, if it being the truth, that I didn't know about, the kids. I didn't know about, I mean, it was just a lot. And
it
I'm
was
not here to promote, that video or,
right. We're not
whatever
here
the
to
case may
promote it.
be.
We just, like I said, I just want to bring light to the generosity that he had, that I
Yeah.
thought he had, because
And he
that's what we're
talked
talking
about
about.
how it made him feel, which
Yes.
is what we were saying. If you haven't been a generous person in the past, now might be a really good time to become one,
Yes.
and just start little.
You
But
can
whatever you give, just make sure you do it because
you want to give.
you really want to do it.
And you know what? I want to say this before I move on to the next point about cat, because I know it's 7:01. But I was listening to this preacher earlier. It was Dr. Charles Stanley, I think, and he was saying how when we're generous, that's us trusting God. And I never
Yeah.
thought about it that way. I was like, wait, that is us trusting God because we're trusting Him to continue to provide. We talked about that. We said sometimes the math is not math, and you're looking at these bills and trying to figure out how you're gonna feed the children. And like, I got this due, the car notes due, you did all this stuff, but it works out. I've told people this so many times. Sometimes I'm looking, I'm like, now I know this is what came in. This is the money that came in, but everything we paid, and it was always
Enough.
enough. And sometimes I'll be like, how in the world that? Because me doing the math, I'm like, that I don't think that equaled up. But it did. The math wasn't mathing in my head. And when I did the equation, but it worked out. God always provided. So if I can't say anything else in this live tonight,
Right.
just trust that He will provide for you. And I think if you trust because you know God never lies, just you can be generous and you can give with open hands because you
And
know you're giving.
remember, his eye is on the sparrow.
And if He take care of the sparrow, you know He's
Take
taking
care of
care of
you.
you. And He said that
He'll give with
somebody
good measure.
press it over or run it
Makes
over,
you good.
shake it up.
Makes you feel good.
Yes, and it makes you feel good. Just talking about it makes you feel good. Being able to give, and also that feeling you get, like you talked about, when you give, you had this feeling that just is like no other.
Oh, the
And
fulfillment is just unprecedented. It's like,
yeah, and you know what, Kat? And I wanted to say this was the other point I wanted to make about him before we have to get out of here because I know you all have to go. I honor your time. But he said that when he used to be in the like in the well, he's still a comedian, we all know that, but he used to be in wherever you did like the comedy sessions. He said a particular place, I just can't remember what it was called, but if he would be at somebody's set, and he said that if he felt like they did a great job and he knew, because he's a comedian, he
yes,
knew they
you
weren't
just
getting.
send them money.
He said he would just send them money and they didn't know it came from him. He said he would just have somebody walk it over and put it in his hand. So so when he said that, I was like, wow, that's really commendable. He did that without saying, hey, here's $1,000 I'm giving you. Like, he didn't walk it to that person. He sent it by way of somebody else
Because he could.
because he could and because
Because
he
they
had the
deserve to
heart
be
to do
paid
it.
for their craft. And he
They
knew that they weren't being paid because he had already walked that path.
Yes, he walked that path. But then, so yesterday, okay, so I heard him say that. I was like, okay, that's his truth. And he sounded really convincing. Like, okay, why would he lie about it? He may be, he may not be. But yesterday, I just happened to be scrolling through YouTube or Instagram or somebody's social media platform, and Dion Cole was on there.
Oh,
And
yeah.
he was there. Yeah, did you see? He had a video where he was just confirming what Cat Williams said. He said, ask that man the next time you see him how much money he's given to people. And he said that he was one of the ones that Cat
That he
Williams,
gave money to.
yeah, gave money to. So I said, look at that. He didn't even have to keep pressing the issue. He had people, he's probably going to have more people come out saying it.
Yeah.
So I was reading the chat, the comment section, because when I look at research, I like go in. So I was reading the comment section, and people in the
Oh,
comment
the
section were
comment
all,
section is the best.
it is the best. Just
You
like
can't
here.
watch a video clip without looking at the comment section.
Yes, so I went right to the comment section, and in the comment section, I didn't read all the comments because I didn't have time, but some of the ones that I read, there were at least three people that said they had been to one of his shows and that Cat Williams had given people money in the audience. And also that they saw him giving money to comedians, but he just wasn't saying that he would just kind of slip, or give
Yeah,
somebody
he would
something.
have somebody take it over to him.
Yeah, so they were confirming what he said, and I was like, wow, he didn't. So
Mm-mm.
all of that to say that you don't have to shout it on the rooftop. Oh, I gave Star $500,000. No, because
Who
you're
gave me
good.
500? Oh,
It wasn't me, but I would love to give you
I
five
was
hundred
gonna say,
thousand dollars.
bless the Lord.
Bless the Lord all the time. So yeah, he didn't have to make an announcement, a declaration, because he
No.
did it because he wanted to do it. And now you
Yep.
have people coming out saying he was generous. He did give.
And Gina versus Gina, it's
Yes.
okay. You can still be
I regret not having more kids
you
because I was worried about being able to afford it. But in hindsight, I know it would have worked out.
big
Yeah.
brothers and big sisters. I signed my kids up for that when I was a single parent back in the day. Big brothers and big sisters. And I tell you, it was one of the best things that I did for them because, they lived in a single parent household. And I mean, I signed them up for big brothers and big sisters. And there are two guys that came into their life. And I'm telling you, they still keep in contact with those two guys. I mean, they took them to places, they talked to them on the phone, they did XYZ, blah, blah, blah. And they still have relationships with these two guys. You know what I'm saying? And you can give like that, the
Hmm.
volunteer. So, yeah, Gina,
Gina, I have five girls. If you want to send me a love token,
you want to be a big sister?
you want to be a big sister to one of them, two of my girls. I have one in the Ivy and one that's getting ready to go to school to Ivy to attached to Columbia. So if you want to give, Gina, you give though, because I know you gave African Dream and sardines and gift packages and all that stuff. So you might not have the children to give it to, but you have
Oh,
others that I can
yeah,
give to, like Star said.
definitely,
And
definitely.
thank you very much for the gifts that keeps on giving. So Gina said, I didn't watch the interview because when you do something because you want to, you don't worry about what they do and how they act afterwards, because that's not your cross to bear. It's theirs.
That's what we said
Exactly. We
earlier.
talked about that earlier, Gina. Yep. You
Hmm.
can't. We said
Not
that when
my
you give it
problem.
to somebody, you give without expectation. Like you give it because you want to give, uh, and you don't expect it back. Because
No,
even this is my thought, if you gave it to somebody expecting it back, you might be disappointed. You just might be disappointed
yeah,
because,
because
yeah, if you
sometimes
give an
you don't
expectation,
you don't get quite back what you gave.
and we talked about that too, didn't we? Because sometimes,
That's
okay,
like Secret Santa. It's like people had to start. You
sometimes,
ain't
first of
going to
all,
get a really nice gift for someone when you do Secret Santa. And
yes.
people had to start putting monetary caps on it. Okay, you got to get a gift, $20, at least $20, no more than 30. I mean,
Are you a girl mom? Yay, Gina.
I'm jealous.
Yeah, I have a 14-year-old too, Gina, along with the other.
I ain't got one of
She
those.
she has men children, but
I
God
got
gave
girl
you two
children. That
girls.
ain't what I'm
Yeah.
saying. I don't have grandchildren.
Oh, what they'll come if they supposed to come. We not worried about that. But
Speak
yeah,
for
you can't.
yourself.
I don't
Get
need
kites
grandchildren.
to fly and cookies to bake
I know. I
and,
still got
and
the young.
drones to fly with my grandchildren. They
I
better
know.
hurry up for I can't do it no more.
Well, you had that when you were here, and then you rolled out. So now you got to wait for the
Oh,
grandchildren.
you
Because
know what? Don't
I
do that.
provided the little
Don't do
children.
that. And I tried to be the big auntie.
Always has been the big sister auntie. I love to help people when I can. Yes, Tiny Twist. Yeah, you got to because and Gina also have a grandson that's 5. Ooh, I have
Oh,
a daughter
just
that's
rub it
5.
in, why don't you?
Gina, yes, Gina. See now, look, you got somebody over here who wants to be a grandmother. That's all right. You get the desires of your heart. We talking
God
about
gonna bless me with a grandbaby. You
God
watch.
gonna bless you plentiful. You gonna have a grandbaby to take out in the garden with you.
I's gonna get me a grandbaby.
Yes. So I don't know. So yeah, just give, and give, and
Yes.
it makes your
Give.
heart happy.
Yes.
Give and don't worry
It's
about
even how they
receiving.
say give until it hurts. If
Give
you're
until
really giving for the right reason, it won't hurt.
it won't hurt. Because have you
It's
ever heard a
gonna feel
generous
good.
person complain like a person who really giving from the heart? They don't really complain like I shouldn't have given that. No, because then what was the purpose of you giving it? Don't give it. Just
Yeah.
give it and move past it. But I'm just saying, don't give without expectation because well, that's how I guard my heart at least. You give without expectation, you don't have to worry about that person giving it back because first of all, maybe they didn't want to give it back. Maybe sometimes the person's intention was never to give anything back to you, or maybe they didn't have it to give to you. It could be something
They
else.
might not.
They
And
might
you
not have
shouldn't
to give
want
it.
it back anyway. Like, why? Will you see them? I'm leaving. They in the chat talking about how many grandchildren they have.
I know. Look at
Y'all
that.
ain't gotta
Goodness
do me
gracious.
like that.
May the Lord bless you with many. Yes, may He put them around the table. Yeah, make sure you have a table full of grandchildren.
Oh my gosh, that's
Yeah,
okay. I'll get a grandchild
you'll
sooner
have
or
one.
later.
Yes, the Lord may still be trying to
That's
prepare
why
you.
I did the baby hair today, because I ain't got no grand. See my baby hair?
I see the baby hairs, the baby hairs.
I tried
So,
to do, yeah. Anyway,
yeah,
so
no,
yes, thank you for having me
yes,
again.
yes, and thank you for coming. You sacrificed your time, and I'm greatly appreciative of that. So you were being generous with your time, with your knowledge, with your past experiences, your wisdom, and all those great things we talked about. I don't have anything monetary to give you at the moment, but we're just going to pretend that I'm passing it over. Here's the plate. Here
I'm
you
getting
are.
a great deal of satisfaction out of sitting in front of this computer camera laughing with you. So, and
So
these
do
people
I.
in the chat because they funny. Y'all
They
need,
are funny.
this is the comedy shop right here.
Right, right. This is a comedy shop. The
Oh
comment
yeah.
section is always a whole nother party.
Yeah.
So,
But yes,
so yes,
please people give generously and often.
generously
And
and often.
I believe it's going to make you feel so fulfilled. In fact, I know that it will, and it's going to put a smile on your face, and that leads to longevity because when you feel good, you look good, and you live longer.
When you smile, absolutely. Ah, yes. Gina versus Gina said hearts all over. Yes. So that's it, and that's all. Are there any questions from the comment section? Would you all like to say anything before we close the
No,
doors?
they too busy tripping on the Green Bay, beating up. Oh, I have people that I need to offer condolences after this is over because
Ooh, you didn't say condolences.
well,
Well,
because
between
this is you lose, you gone.
oh, they
This
could
is
hit the road.
yes,
It's
this
one of
is
those type things.
yeah,
Ooh.
this is wild card. Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
I got some people I need to pat on the back because
you need to
they
get
may
them.
have to pat me on the back. I hope not.
Then you might have to say, "It's been lovely, but it's time to go. Pack your bags and
Yeah, it's
see you next
hard.
time. Take care, everyone." All right. Well, we're gonna go ahead and close out since there are no other things. We've opened the doors of the church and announcements have.
Oh my God, please stop.
And Wellness with Frugal Mama said, "Take care, everyone." So she one of the ushers. Like, let's go. Let's wrap
Yeah,
this.
she's like,
Let's go. So thank you all for coming in, Star. You already know. Thank you for being here again and being my
yay,
co-host with the mostest. And
yay, thank
have a
you.
great night. Have a great night, everybody. Go ahead and watch the football game if it's still going, right? What court is it?
It's almost over, but another game is coming up. Okay,
Well, all
bye.
right. Bye. See you guys later. I'm not gonna watch football. I'm gonna relax for a little bit till my people come back home. All right, see you all next Sunday, or I might see you in the next one.
Bye.
And thanks again for your generosity and coming in and supporting Geeky Girls Journal, your Geeky Girl Andrea and Star Black Mermaid. So we'll see you all next Sunday. Have a good day and a great week. Peace. Oh, look at the